Hey everyone, picture this. A world where sharks, those sleek toothy terrors of the deep, aren't just ruling the seas but running the entire planet. Forget humans with our cities and smartphones. Imagine sharks as the brainy overlords of Earth. How would these ocean predators build a civilization? Would their world be a watery utopia or a jaw-snapping free-for-all? In this video, we're diving into the wild idea of sharks evolving to dominate the globe. We'll explore how they might develop smarts, forge underwater societies, invent bizarre tech, and shape a culture that's all their own. So grab your snorkel and let's plunge into this shark-ruled world. All right, folks, we've just plunged into the wild idea of a world where sharks, those finned, fearsome rulers of the deep, are calling the shots instead of us humans. But let's hit the brakes for a second and ask, why sharks? I mean, they're basically the ocean's equivalent of a sports car with teeth. But what makes these underwater predators capable of evolving into the planet's dominant species? Buckle up, or maybe strap on your scuba gear, because we're about to dive into what makes sharks such surprising contenders for world domination. First, let's talk about what makes sharks so special. These creatures have been cruising the oceans for over 400 million years, outlasting dinosaurs and surviving everything from ice ages to asteroid strikes. That's right. Sharks were perfecting their predator game while our ancestors were still tiny mammals hiding from T-Rex. They're built like living torpedoes, sleek, powerful, and equipped with senses that make them the ultimate hunters. Their sense of smell can detect blood in the water from miles away, like a superpower for sniffing out dinner. They've got an acute sense of hearing, picking up vibrations from struggling prey, and some species, like hammerheads, have eyes that give them a near 360-degree view. Add in their rows of razor-sharp teeth, and you've got a creature that's practically designed to rule. Now compare that to early humans. Our primate ancestors started out small, scrappy, and adaptable, using their wits to survive in a world full of bigger, badder creatures. Sharks are already there. They're the apex predators of the sea, no question. Species like great whites, tiger sharks, or even the weirdly awesome hammerheads dominate their environment with a mix of strength, speed, and strategy. They don't just charge in blindly. They stalk, they circle, they wait for the perfect moment to strike. That kind of calculated hunting screams potential for intelligence. If evolution decided to crank up their brainpower, sharks could be unstoppable. But what about their environment? Sharks are masters of the ocean, which covers over 70% of Earth's surface. That's a massive playground for building a civilization. Unlike humans, who had to claw their way up on land, sharks have a vast, resource-rich world to work with. The ocean is packed with food, fish, squid, you name it, and minerals like those found in underwater volcanoes or shipwrecks. Plus, sharks are already adapted to every kind of aquatic environment, from shallow coral reefs to the crushing depths of the abyss. Think about it. While early humans were figuring out how to not freeze in caves, sharks were already thriving in every corner of the seas. That adaptability is a huge checkmark in their favor. So how do we get from a toothy hunter to a world-ruling mastermind? It all comes down to a little evolutionary magic. Imagine a scenario where millions of years ago something shakes up the ocean. Maybe a massive climate shift changes the food chain, or a cosmic event like a meteor wipes out some of the shark's competitors, giving them room to evolve. Now picture a genetic mutation that boosts their brain size, not unlike what happened to our ancestors when they started walking upright and getting clever. Suddenly, sharks aren't just hunting on instinct, they're planning, problem-solving, maybe even daydreaming about building underwater empires. What else do sharks have going for them? Their social behavior varies by species, which gives them flexibility. Some, like sand tiger sharks, are more solitary, prowling the seas alone like lone wolves. Others, like hammerheads, swim in massive schools, showing they can work together when it counts. This mix of independence and group dynamics is perfect for evolving complex societies. Picture a school of brainy hammerheads coordinating a hunt, each shark knowing its role like players on a sports team. That's the kind of foundation that could lead to clans, tribes, or even underwater nations. Now let's address the elephant, or rather the whale, in the room. Sharks live underwater. Could they really build a civilization without fire, or Land-based tools, absolutely. The ocean is full of materials, coral, shells, even sunken human artifacts like metal from shipwrecks. A smart shark might figure out how to use a sharp piece of coral to cut through tough prey or carve out a shelter. Plus, their bodies are already built for action. Those powerful jaws and flexible fins could evolve into something more dexterous, maybe even developing specialized appendages for manipulating objects. It's not as crazy as it sounds. Octopuses already use their arms for tool-like tasks, so why not sharks? Of course, there's a flip side. Sharks are hardcore predators, and that aggressive streak could shape their societies in ways we might not love. Would they be ruthless rulers, gobbling up everything in sight, or could they develop a sense of cooperation and balance? That's something we'll dive into later. For now, the point is that sharks have the raw ingredients: strength, senses, adaptability, and a massive ocean to play in, to evolve into something extraordinary. So there you have it. Sharks aren't just the ocean's top dogs. They've got the potential to be global overlords. With a little evolutionary luck, these finned powerhouses could go from ruling the seas to reshaping the world. Next up, we'll explore how their evolution might unfold, from their first tools to the rise of shark societies. Stay tuned for the deep dive. So we've just seen why sharks, those sleek, toothy titans of the deep, are prime candidates to take over the world. With their razor-sharp senses, raw power, and a whole ocean to conquer, they're practically begging for an evolutionary upgrade. But how do these underwater predators go from chomping fish to building civilizations? Grab your flippers, because we're about to swim through millions of years of shark evolution, and trust me, it's a jaw-dropping ride. Let's set the stage. Picture an ancient ocean swirling with chaos. Maybe a volcanic eruption has shifted. The currents, or a mass extinction, has cleared out some of the competition. In this moment, sharks get their big break, the first major leap: a beefier brain. Just like our primate ancestors got a cognitive boost that turned them from tree swingers to toolmakers, sharks undergo a similar glow-up. A random genetic mutation, perhaps sparked by a changing environment, supercharges their neural wiring. Suddenly, these toothy hunters aren't just reacting, they're thinking, planning, maybe even plotting. Imagine a great white shark pausing mid-hunt, not just to circle its prey, but to strategize the best angle of attack. That's the spark of something big. Physically, sharks might not change much at first. They're still those streamlined killing machines, with fins slicing through the water and jaws that could crush a clam in one bite. But their behavior? That's where the magic happens. These brainier sharks start noticing patterns in their world. Maybe a hammerhead figures out that a certain type of coral is perfect for scraping off pesky parasites, or a tiger shark learns to wedge a sharp shell into a crevice to pry out hidden prey. This is the dawn of tool use, shark style. Picture a shark gripping a jagged piece of coral in its jaws to carve out a hiding spot, or using a discarded fish bone to spear a meal. It's not a smartphone, but for a creature that's all teeth and instinct, it's a giant leap forward. Now let's talk about their social scene. Sharks today range from lone wolves like the great white to social butterflies like hammerheads, who cruise in massive schools. As their brains evolve, these social instincts kick into high gear. Imagine small groups of sharks forming tight-knit pods, not just swimming together, but cooperating. A school of brainy hammerheads might work like a SWAT team, coordinating a hunt with precision. Some sharks herd a school of fish into a trap, while others swoop in for the kill. These pods could become the first shark tribes, staking out territories in coral reefs or deep-sea canyons. Can you see it? A pack of sharks patrolling their turf, their fins cutting through the water like flags of dominance. Communication is the next big hurdle, and sharks are ready to tackle it. Modern sharks already use body language. Think of a shark's menacing swim or a flick of the tail to signal aggression. But as their brains grow, these signals get more sophisticated. Picture a shark clan developing a system of clicks, grunts, or even low-frequency hums that travel through the water. Maybe they use their electroreception, the ability to sense electric fields, to send subtle signals like an underwater Morse code. Over generations, these sounds and signals evolve into a proto-language, A shark might emit a specific pulse to say, "Food over here," or a sharp tail snap to warn, "Intruder alert." It's not poetry, but it's enough to share ideas, coordinate hunts, or settle disputes without a full-on bite fest. What would a shark language sound like to you? Let me know in the comments. As for their environment, these clever sharks start reshaping the ocean to suit their needs. Instead of just hiding in caves, they might carve out shelters in coral reefs, stacking shells or rocks to create fortified dens. Picture a shark clan building a sprawling village in a sunken shipwreck, with chambers for sleeping, storing food, or raising their pups. Some might even experiment with landscaping their reefs, clearing paths through seaweed or arranging shells to mark territory. It's not a city skyline, but it's the start of shark architecture, built to withstand the ocean's currents and predators. What about early shark culture? Even at this stage, they might develop traditions. Maybe a successful hunt ends with a synchronized swim, like a victory lap through the reef. Or perhaps they start leaving markers, piles of shells or carved coral, to honor a legendary shark who took down a giant squid. These behaviors lay the groundwork for a society with its own rituals and identity. Compared to humans, sharks are starting from a different place. No fire, no dry land. But their aquatic world gives them unique tools to work with. Their predatory nature might make them fiercer, but their intelligence suggests they could learn to cooperate, maybe even better than we do. By now, our evolved sharks are no longer just ocean bullies. They're on the verge of something epic. With tools, communication, and budding communities, they're laying the foundation for a civilization unlike anything we've seen. But what happens when these brainy sharks start building full-blown societies? That's where we're headed. Next, so don't swim away. We've just watched our sharks evolve from toothy terrors into brainy ocean innovators, wielding coral tools and chattering in their own underwater lingo. They're no longer just prowling the seas, they're building something big. So what happens when these finned masterminds take the leap from scattered tribes to full-blown societies? Grab your diving mask, because we're plunging into the heart of a shark-ruled world, where coral cities pulse, rituals roar, and the ocean hums with ambition. Let's see what a shark civilization looks like. First up, how do these aquatic overlords organize their society? Sharks are all about power and precision, so their social structure might hinge on who's the strongest, the smartest, or the slickest swimmer in the pod. Picture a great white as the clan leader, not just because it's got the biggest jaws, but because it can outmaneuver rivals in a high-speed chase or orchestrate a hunt like a general. Unlike human hierarchies, which often lean on wealth or titles, shark society could be a meritocracy of muscle and cunning. Smaller species like reef sharks might climb the ranks by proving their strategic chops, maybe outsmarting a rival for prime territory. Imagine a shark council meeting in a sunken ship, each member flashing their fins to assert dominance. Who'd you bet on in a shark power struggle? Drop your pick in the comments. Now, let's swim into their cities, because yes, sharks would have cities, but they're nothing like ours. Forget concrete jungles, think sprawling coral metropolises or cavernous underwater lairs carved into ocean cliffs. Picture a reef transformed into a bustling hub, with tunnels weaving through vibrant corals, chambers for sleeping, and storage nooks packed with fishy rations. Some clans might claim a sunken human shipwreck, turning rusty hulls into fortified palaces. These shark cities would be built for function, designed to ride the ocean currents and fend off predators like giant squid. A hammerhead architect might proudly nudge a perfectly placed shell into a reef wall, creating a new den. It's not Times Square, but it's a masterpiece of marine engineering, pulsing with the rhythm of the sea. What about shark culture? Oh, this is where it gets fantastic. Sharks, with their primal energy, would throw the wildest underwater parties. Imagine a massive school of sharks gathering at dusk for a hunting festival, swirling in a synchronized dance to celebrate a bountiful catch. Their rituals might revolve around the ocean itself. Think ceremonies honoring the tides or mythical sea beasts like a legendary kraken. Some clans could develop spiritual beliefs, maybe worshipping the moon for guiding their nocturnal hunts, or leaving offerings of polished shells to appease a stormy sea. Picture a shark shaman, its scars glowing under bioluminescent algae, leading a ritual chant of clicks and hums. What kind of shark god would you pray to? Let me know below. Art and expression? Sharks would totally have that covered. They might carve intricate patterns into coral reefs, like underwater murals, or arrange shells in dazzling mosaics to mark territory. Their music could be haunting symphonies of low-frequency pulses, echoing through the deep to tell tales of epic hunts or lost loves. Picture a shark bard weaving a saga with rhythmic tail flicks and eerie hums, captivating a crowd of wide-eyed pups. Unsura. It's not Beethoven, but it's raw, primal, and unmistakably shark. Their dances might mimic their hunting moves, swift, spiraling loops that dazzle and intimidate. It's a culture that's fierce, vibrant, and deeply tied to the ocean's pulse. Now let's talk shark economics, because even these toothy titans need to trade to keep their society swimming. Without coins or credit cards, their economy would be all about bartering. A shark with a stash of plump fish might trade them for a shiny piece of shipwreck metal or a bundle of tough seaweed for building. Food would be king. Think preserved squid or clumps of nutrient-rich algae. Some shark clans might even pioneer aquaculture, cultivating patches of seaweed or herding schools of smaller fish like underwater ranchers. Imagine a shark farmer, proudly nudging a kelp bed into shape with its snout. Trade routes could emerge, with pods of sharks ferrying goods along ocean currents, dodging rogue waves and rival clans. It's a bustling marketplace, all happening beneath the waves. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Sharks are territorial, and their societies might be riddled with tension. Clans could clash over the best reefs or richest fishing grounds, leading to epic underwater battles. Think swirling schools of sharks, jaws flashing, tails thrashing. But diplomacy might also arise, with rival pods meeting to negotiate peace, perhaps exchanging gifts of rare shells or promising shared hunting rights. Picture a tense standoff, two shark leaders circling each other, communicating with cautious clicks. Would sharks be better at keeping the peace than humans, or would their predatory instincts spark constant chaos? That's a question we'll dive into later. What makes shark society unique is its harmony with the ocean. Unlike humans, who often reshape the land to suit our needs, sharks would build with the sea's flow, using currents, reefs, and natural structures. Their predatory nature might make their culture fierce, but their intelligence suggests they could find balance, creating a world that's both wild and sustainable. So there's our glimpse into the pulsing, toothy heart of shark civilization. Next, we'll explore how these aquatic rulers might invent technology and reshape their watery world. Don't swim away. We've just surfaced from the vibrant, toothy world of shark society, where coral cities hum with activity and festivals pulse with fin-flicking flair. These brainy sharks aren't just ruling the seas, they're reshaping them with their own brand of ingenuity. But what happens when these aquatic masterminds start inventing tools, crafting tech, and bending the ocean to their will? Strap on your diving gear, because we're about to explore the wild world of shark technology and its impact on their watery domain. Spoiler alert, it's a lot less Wi-Fi and a lot more fin-tastic. Let's dive into shark tech. Forget fire or electricity, these are creatures of the deep, so their inventions are born from the ocean's bounty. Early on, our evolved sharks are already handy with basic tools, like jagged coral chunks to slice through tough prey, or fish bones to pry open clams. But as their brains grow sharper, so do their creations. Picture a tiger shark wielding a spear, crafted from a narwhal tusk, sharpened against a volcanic rock, or a hammerhead clan fashioning nets from woven seaweed to trap schools of fish. These aren't just random finds, they're crafted with purpose, showing sharks have moved from scavenging to inventing. Imagine a shark workshop in a sunken ship, where a team of reef sharks chisels coral into blades, their tails swishing with pride. It's like an underwater blacksmith shop, minus the sparks. Now let's talk big tech, shark style. Without dry land, they lean on the ocean's natural systems. Take transportation. Instead of cars, sharks might harness ocean currents like highways, building sleds from smooth shells or driftwood, towed by teams of smaller fish like remoras. Picture a great white hitching a ride on a current-powered Sled, zooming through the sea with a cargo of traded goods. For bigger projects, they might repurpose human relics, think metal scraps from shipwrecks forged into shields, or weights to anchor their reef cities. Some brainy sharks could even experiment with bioluminescence, using glowing algae to light up their underwater layers, like neon signs in a coral Vegas. Can you imagine a shark engineer showing off a glowing cave? What would you call that kind of tech? Drop your ideas below. But it's not just about tools. Sharks might pioneer their own version of industry. Imagine aqua farms where clans cultivate kelp forests or herd schools of fish like underwater shepherds. These farms could supply food or materials like seaweed fibers for nets or tough mollusk shells for armor. Some shark societies might discover ways to manipulate the sea itself, redirecting currents with strategically placed rocks to protect their cities or funnel prey into traps. It's not a steam engine, but it's clever. Sharks are working with the ocean's flow, not fighting it. Picture a shark scientist circling a kelp patch, calculating the perfect angle for a current-deflecting boulder. That's next-level marine engineering. Now let's swim into the environmental impact. Sharks, being ocean natives, might have a leg up or fin up on sustainability. Their small resource needs mean they're not clear-cutting forests or burning through coal. Their cities, built from coral and shells, blend into the seascape, leaving a lighter footprint than human sprawl. A shark metropolis might expand a reef rather than destroy it, adding layers of coral to create new living spaces. Their aquafarms could even boost biodiversity, cultivating algae that feeds smaller critters, which in turn feed the sharks. It's a cycle that could keep the ocean thriving, not depleted. Imagine a world where progress doesn't mean pollution. Pretty refreshing, right? But here's the catch. Sharks are predators, and their tech could amplify their bite. Overhunting is a real risk. Picture a shark clan with advanced nets scooping up entire schools of fish, leaving parts of the ocean barren. Their territorial instincts might drive them to strip reefs bare for building materials, disrupting delicate ecosystems. If a clan gets too greedy, they could upset the balance, starving out rivals or even themselves. Would their smarts help them avoid these pitfalls, or would they chomp their way into trouble like humans with overfishing? It's a tightrope, and their predatory nature makes it wobbly. Sharks might also face unique challenges. Their tech, tied to the ocean, could be vulnerable to natural disasters like underwater volcanoes or tsunamis. A poorly placed coral city could collapse in a storm, or a miscalculated current could scatter their aquafarms. Yet their adaptability, honed over 400 million years, suggests they'd find ways to rebound, maybe rebuilding stronger or moving to deeper waters. Picture a shark clan regrouping after a tsunami, their leader barking orders with a series of sharp clicks. It's resilience in action, a testament to their survival instincts. What sets shark tech apart is its harmony with the sea. Unlike humans, who often bend nature to our will, sharks build with the ocean's rhythms, currents, tides, and ecosystems. Their inventions, from seaweed nets to glowing caves, show a civilization that's fierce yet fluid, innovative yet instinctive. But their predatory edge raises questions. Would they master sustainable tech, or would their hunger outpace their smarts? That's the million-dollar or million-fish question. So there's our peek into the high-tech, high-stakes world of shark innovation. From coral spears to current-powered sleds, these aquatic rulers are crafting a future that's uniquely their own. And that's a wrap, folks. We've swum through a world where sharks rule, from brainy hunters to coral city architects wielding seaweed nets and glowing caves. Their ocean empire, pulsing with rituals and current-powered tech, is wilder and bluer than ours. Sharks might live lighter, building with the sea's flow, but their toothy instincts could spark fierce turf wars. Would they outsmart their own hunger or chomp their way into chaos? You tell me, utopia or Sharknado? Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you make of this imagined world? Could this civilization endure, or would it collapse under its own weight? If you could choose another species to rule Earth, what would their world look like? Share your ideas in the comments below. I'm excited to see what you come up with. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like and share the video. It really helps spread the word. Subscribing keeps you in the loop for more thought-provoking content like this. Next up, we're diving into another wild scenario about a different species taking over. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep imagining and keep exploring.